So, you want to own a rental property? My name is Garrett Wong, owner of Upper Edge Property Management. Today we're going to be discussing utilities. So, you've moved in your tenant, given them a warm welcome on moving day, and now you have a few more housekeeping items before you're able to sit back and hopefully have a quiet year until the lease renewal needs to be sent out. When you moved in your tenant, you should have taken meter readings: water meter, gas meter, electricity meter. Depending on your rental property, the tenant may or may not have been responsible for paying the utility bills on the property. You would obviously look at your lease for this, and every leasing situation is different. Generally speaking, for a single-family home, the tenant is responsible for paying all of their utilities. For a multifamily home, it really depends how the building is set up. For example, you might have a side-by-side duplex with 2 units, separate utilities. In this case, therefore, the tenant might pay all of the utilities. In an up and down duplex, maybe the furnace is connected to Unit 1, so Unit 1's hydro is paid by the landlord, and Unit 2 has their own hydro meter, and therefore, on their lease, they are responsible for hydro. Now, regardless how you set up your lease, on move-in day, make sure you take all of your meter readings, even those for which the tenant is not responsible. At the very least, you have a starting point to detect if your tenant is using excess utilities. For example, if you're responsible for heat, you can see if your new tenant is leaving the windows open during the middle of winter. Once you have your meter readings, I would highly recommend you give a copy of those readings to the tenant, or more specifically, give them a copy of the readings they will need to pay. I'm not sure how it works in your city, but in Winnipeg, the tenant must call in and set up their account. So, give them the readings, give them the numbers they need to call, and give them a deadline by which they need to call. Diarize this in your phone, calendar, etc., and then follow up with the utility company. Sounds like a pain and a lot of work? It is, but nobody said property management was easy. If you forget, don't follow up and leave it too long. The bills may still be coming to you in your name, and the utility company might hold you responsible for those bills. So it's really important to make sure you follow up. Next week, I'll be discussing common areas and the best ways to set up your leases for utilities. Thanks for watching.